Hello again, Vince here from My Mate Vince, and in this video today I'm going to come back to this window here. So if you remember, this was episode 2, I think it was, and unfortunately this thing broke off it. But now I do have the MIG welder, so I'm hoping I might be able to weld it back on. But as well as that, this is not actually working. So if you have a look here, it's making the right noises, but it's just spinning down here. If you look in the middle here, you see it just spinning? And yet that's not actually moving the thing here. So basically, looking at this one over here, which will be another episode, can you see when it goes down here, yeah, it's fine. And when it goes back up, can you see, look, it drops like that. So, but yet it still works. So I think that's what these chains are for. Not these chains, sorry, these tension things are for here. So there's a spring down here and a spring down there as well. And then they wrap up and they go to this bit here around all the pulleys, and also this bit here. I've just taped it up at the moment. So I think that this window should still work up and down. It's just that without these things here, it's going to flop around like that other one there. So obviously it's important to get that working, but as well as that, the window itself is not working. So now the difficulty I've got is that this window would have never been removed since the car was new, and it's all stuck in place. So I'm going to have to try to sort of prise this open. I don't know how I'm going to separate this from the glass here. I think I'm going to struggle, but if I can separate it, then I can take this section out. Then I might be able to repair it, for example, in the shed, weld some new bits on, and then we can worry about getting the motor working. So there's two things wrong here. So I think to begin with, I'm going to undo this bolt here, and I'm hoping then it might separate it from this chain. And then if I can undo that, then maybe I might be able to get a rubber mallet or something and a block of wood and try to hammer this down to get it away from here, because obviously it's stuck on with adhesive. Maybe I could try putting some isopropyl alcohol in here. That might soften up the adhesive a little bit. Not too sure, but let's start with undoing this bolt here and trying to separate the chain from this bit here. Okay, looks like it's a 13mm nut. There we go. Now obviously I've got the battery kill switch done in the boot, so there's no way that this can come on. Right, okay, I've got the nut off and there's a washer up here as well. Let me just try to retrieve the washer. There we go. Excellent. Right, that is now loose. I'm just going to put the washer and bolt back on this side so I don't lose them. There we go. Right, okay, so now that should be completely loose from everything. So I wonder if I was to pour some IPA in there. See, it's probably welded on with rust. Let me get some IPA and put it in here. Right, so this is the miracle stuff here. It only came into my life a few years ago, but I wouldn't be without it now for the rest of my life. This stuff is amazing. Even my wife uses it now as well to clean various different things. Now, I'm not saying it's going to work here after raving about how good it is. I'm just wondering if any of that can go down, it might be able to eat into the adhesive. You use this on electronics because it just evaporates off without causing any problems. It's not the best for rubber though, apparently. But the thing is, I have to get this off here. I think now I'm going to get some wood. I'm going to start knocking it down with maybe a rubber mallet. Yes, there is a chance of breaking this glass here. Right, here goes. These videos are starting to attract more haters, which is always the case when you do anything new. So, and when you show any signs of weakness as well, they all come out of the woodwork, all the idiots. So they're going to love this. So I like to feed them every now and then. So if it smashes, they're gonna have a field day, and it's good to make other people feel good. You know what? That hasn't even lowered a millimetre. I can see all the IPA down here. Oh man, come on. See, I can't lever it out using a screwdriver because metal against the glass is just going to crack instantly. It's pretty strong. If I was to get that and do that, it is actually pretty strong. But it's a point of contact. It just smashes straight away, cracks straight away. I thought that would have come off by now. No. Right, what am I going to do here? Would it be easy with the glass out, or would it be harder? See, right now I've got the glass stuck on with these big bits of tape up here, so it's actually applying a bit of pressure for me, you know, to whack it down. Have to get the glass out to weld this, you see. There's no other way. It gets too hot when you weld it. Right, okay, I think what I'm going to do is there's a... Where's that connected? There's a couple of channels here that run down, you see. There's a channel here that runs down and a channel down here that runs down. And if I was to undo the front one, I might be able to just push it a little bit to the side. That might be enough to get the glass to come out. And we are out. Right, I'm going to keep that in here so I know it's to do with the door. Right, now that is actually incredibly strong. But maybe when I put the window down, it might do it. So I'm just going to untape the window for the moment. Let's drop it to the very bottom. Now let's try to move this out of the way. Is it going to come out? I think it is. Annoyingly, there's a massive bolt here that really rubs against the glass. I don't understand it. I've seen it before. See this bolt here? This one really hits against the glass. Wow, I wasn't actually expecting it to be that easy. Right, we managed to get it out. Now let's put this onto the grass so I don't smash it. Let's see if we can get this bottom thing out. Right, we've got an idea. It's not my idea. But anyway, before that, I did put isopropyl alcohol down the other side as well, just in case it softens up. Now, my dad seems to think if I was to screw this down into his workbench or something that doesn't move, then maybe I can grab it here and here and kind of wiggle it out. It might work. So I'm going to get a slightly longer screw than this. I've got a washer. I'm just going to screw it down. Vroom, straight into the workbench. We'll give that a go. Okay, so I've got a nice big screw here. And a washer. There we go. There's a very big curve on this glass. Right, okay, let's see now. Is it going to work? One second now. The problem I've got, if there was two of them, you see, then it would be a lot easier. But it's just going to keep. I wanted to wiggle it out, but it's just going to keep on. It's going to keep on turning. All right, we're going to try again. This time, my dad's just holding it here because what's happening is, when I'm hitting it here, it's just kind of bouncing this way. So going to try it now. It's not even given a millimetre. Well, I'm going to do a few more hits, and then I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to weld on a new piece and maybe use some epoxy or something to try to glue the two bits together. No, that's not moving at all. Right, let me just fill you in on what's happening. So I'm going to try to just grind back the rust here, but I'm going to be using a Dremel tool. Now with a Dremel tool I'm hoping the heat will be a lot more localised than the angle grinder, and I can do it really, really carefully. So I'm hoping to kind of get this back to around here, and then on this side I can just use the angle grinder. So I've got my grinding disc on the angle grinder, I've taken off the pulley wheel here, and I'm just going to start, I'll probably chop away all this top bit, and I'm going to try to weld on a new U-shape onto that. And you know what, if I was to do it, if I was to try to measure it, might not be that easy, but if I was to try to measure it, and if I could cut this in a straight enough line, I might be able to butt the other one up to here, and maybe then it would have nowhere to go. But it's a lot easier said than done, isn't it? I'm going to give that a go. Thank you, Sean. Right now, here we go. There we go. Right, okay. Plenty of dirt down here. Well, now I'm going to use the angle grinder on the other bit, try to sort that bit out. Okay, so here it is. It's still pitted with rust, but it's pretty solid. Nice big thick chunk of metal here. So I've got 1.2mm steel in the shed. I'm going to try to form something up on here, see if it works. If it doesn't, I can always buy another one eventually when they come up for sale. I did find one that was green tinted glass, and I thought, well, that's not suitable for mine. But now when I actually look over here, my glass does look a little bit green tinted, doesn't it? If you have a look down there, when it's against a white background, it does look like green tinted. So yeah, worst case scenario, I'll be able to replace it, but I always like to try to fix rather than replace, if at all possible, because it's more enjoyable. And I can't just be replacing every part on the car, because I would spend tens and tens of thousands of pounds, which I'm not going to be able to do. I've lined up this with the edge of the glass here, yeah, like that, and now I've measured all the way from here to here, and I've cut out a bit of metal to suit. I also measured from here to here, which are 3.5 centimetre at the bottom, and 3.5 back up the other side as well. So now what I need to do is I need to form it. So I'm just down in the shed. I've already bent one of them just in the wooden vise, but now I need to form the other side as well. So let's just do a little bit of filming on that. So I've been looking for things that's roughly the same as the one that came off, and this looks pretty good here. Just the edge of this metal thing to lock up tools with. So now I'm going to start beating this round. Right, now that I've got the rough shape of it there, you can see there to there, I'm now going to put it in the vise and crush it. Right, okay, it's not too dissimilar, but we kind of need it a little bit more flat at the edge. So I'm going to go back onto that metal thing and put it on and start hammering it to get the flat edge here. Well, I'm kind of happy with that. Let's see what it looks like on the glass. Well, I mean, that could be a lot worse. So I need to trim it down a little bit, and also I need to cut a bit out to be able to weld on this bit here. So let's start marking it up. Actually, thinking about it, rather than chopping this up, why don't I try to get rid of this old piece here, and then I can weld onto this new bit. Not new bit, sorry, the old bit here. Right, so it's nearly off. You can see it's just held in with some spot welds here, 4 spot welds. So if I drilled them out, it would have probably been easier, but I'm nearly there now. There we go. So I've removed that old part now, so I should be able to weld that onto there. And once I neaten up this top bit here and use a hammer and whack it around the place, it may just work. I'm wondering whether or not I can use this to punch some holes out of here, and then I'll be able to spot weld it again. I suppose I won't be able to go through the old welds, but if I was to go in between them, see if this is going to work or not. Oops. Yes. Excellent, so I've got a hole now, so I can weld through that. This tool is really useful, so you can see it makes holes here, and if you spin it around, then you can kind of do an offset on the metal. So if you want to join two bits of metal together, you can kind of do, in a way, like a lap joint. It's really good. I don't know what it's called. I think my brother said it was called joggler. Not sure about that though. Right, I've got to start welding now. This onto here. Well, I just did some initial welds round there, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring it down to the shed. I want to get this in line with this. I'm going to use the hammer in the vise and stuff just to get it nice and straight, and then we can weld up this side and start filling up the holes on this side. Right, so that hammered into place nice. You can see now it's nice and straight with that. I'm yet to grind this down to make it level. None of this is going to be seen anyway, it's going to be hidden in the door. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to weld on this, try to get a weld to fill up this area here, and then try to fill up around here as well. Okay, so you can see that's welded all the way around there and all the way through there as well. So now I'm going to grind it all down to make it flat. Right, check it out. Not bad for a bodger, and you can see like the burning's gone right the way through to the inside, so the heat must have gone in. So I think they're going to be a very strong weld. I don't think that's ever going to come undone until it rusts. So yeah, I'm happy with that, and I don't think that's going to be foul in the back because I've ground it down there and it's nice and smooth. Oh, actually this is the back, isn't it? I've ground it down and it's no thicker than it was before. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a nice spray with this Hammerite straight to direct to rust metal spray smooth black, and then we can put it on. Now if it's going to be tight on the rubber, I don't think I'm going to mess around. Initially I was thinking of trying to epoxy it onto the old metal, but if it's tight on the glass I think it will be okay, because the way the pulleys are lined up, it's going to be pulling this together, not apart, because that's why it broke in the first time. When I put the pulleys on, it went like this, it bent out this way because it was rusty. So it's always going to be pushing it inwards. I don't think we're going to have a problem with that, unless of course it comes off the glass. I don't think it will do though, especially when I start, you know, before I put it on the glass, I'm going to make sure that it's definitely clamped down as much as it is so it can really grip onto the rubber. I'm really happy with that. Okay, so here it is all sprayed up. Annoyingly, it seems to be taking forever to dry. An hour's already passed and it's still tacky, but I'm running out of time and I want to get the glass back in the car. Right, check this out. I've just been cleaning out the door on the inside because it was all rusty, and initially I thought maybe the door was rotten. It's not. It's immaculate, and the reason it's immaculate is because it's aluminium. So I've got some strong magnets here, rare earth magnets, and if you have a look there you can see it sticks, but now look, nowhere on the door does it stick. Bonnet doesn't stick either, so that sticks there, but the bonnet doesn't stick. So the bonnet's aluminium, the front door's aluminium, the back door is also aluminium, which is great, and the boot's aluminium as well.
that's really good. So at least you know your doors are not going to rot, and the bonnet's not going to rot either. So yeah, a massive plus point. Okay, unfortunately this still isn't dry, so I'm going to just have to cover up the open window tonight. Now I am going to put it on here because it's dry enough, and also the fact that it's kind of drying on the rubber will hopefully make it stick even more. So I'm just going to spray a little bit of this spray adhesive just onto the rubber. Well, actually, if I do a little bit here. And then if I put some on here, and the other side, I've cleaned all this up. Also, I've put some rust on these bits here because there's a little bit of surface rust, but this is pretty thick metal here. And then what I can do is I can put some hammerite on that as well when it's dry. So now, what I wonder whether or not that's going to work. I'm going to put the pulley back through it now, and we'll have to see. Ideally I'd like to get it on the car now so I can kind of move it around a little bit, because I'm not sure if this is supposed to be dead flat with this or in a little bit. Right, well, if it fits and if it works, it certainly looks nice. I'm definitely happy with the strength of it and how it's turned out. So yeah, I just need to wait till tomorrow now, and then we can get it installed and then look at why the actual window itself is not working. Right, it's the next day now, and I'm ready to put the window back in. So I'm going to take all this off. Luckily it's nice and sunny today, so let's get the window in with the springs on it and see if it fits into the channel, see if it stays up, and then I can worry about the actual motor. I'm going to remove these wires because they're going to be in my way, and then I can install them afterwards. Well, I can leave them down the bottom, they're not going to be in my way if I just put them down here. Again, the battery is completely disconnected. There we go. Right, let's just throw that there. The main thing I'm worried about is the channel, fitting into the channel. Right, let's bring the window over and try to get it in. I hope I don't smash it because I'm on my own. Right, so now, how am I going to do this? Let's put it in to begin with. Whoa. Annoying, there's something in the way already. There we go. Right, if I could get it in its channel, then I'd feel slightly safer. Right, I think that is in its channel down here. So if I, yes it is. Oh, exciting times. Right, I'm going to do up the bottom, and then we'll see what we'll see if it's moving up and down. I'm just going to put this bolt back in the bottom. I won't go crazy on that yet because I don't really know if it's in its place or not. Let's see if this is going to move up and down. Yes, it is. Let's bolt it back up down here.
Luckily the paint's gone nice and hard now that I did yesterday. The stuff that took forever to dry. Well, excellent, I've got it started. Can't remember what it was. Was it 13 that I needed? I wonder if I get a cable tie and wrap it around here, would it keep this window up rather than using a lot of gaffer tape? Yes, it will. Okay, I don't know whether that is in its place or not, but let's start. Now, I just want to see if both of these are the same length as each other. Yes, they are, so they're the same. Right, so I'm going to hook this on down here. So there's a little hook that goes onto the bottom here, and then it goes through the pulleys up here to this one, and then this one goes through that pulley across there to this one here. Hopefully then the window should go up and down nice and straight. Well, this one's not going to go up and down because the motor's not working, but it shouldn't be wobbling like on the other side. I presume that's what these are for. Right, because you need a huge amount of strength to try to get this in its place, I'm just going to put a bit of cardboard here just in case. It might stop me from whacking the window. Right, so I need to get this hooked onto here, but it needs to go through this pulley here. Amazing, I did it, and it's not broken yet. Right, the metal bit that I did. Let's chop this bit off here now. Is it going to sink? Also, remember the bolt I said that was causing me problems? It was loose, I screwed it in. See this little bolt here? This one in here was really loose, so hopefully now that I've screwed it in, it'll have less chance of rubbing against a window. two-person job. I need that to go in there. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh God, I've got to watch the glass. Did it. Amazing. Did you hear that ping like a guitar string? Right, that is in its place.
Okay, so that's the mechanism back together. I think that's going to work fine. Now we have to find out why the motor is not actually moving the window up and down. So there must be some problem between the actual motor and the chain, because the motor's spinning, yet the chain's just twitching every now and then. So let's take the motor out, and hopefully it will become evident what the problem is.
So looking here, it looks like we have a bolt here, a bolt here, and another bolt at the back there. I'm hoping then maybe the motor will come out this way. Obviously there's going to be an electrical connection to it. Let's undo that and see what's going on.
And while we're undoing these 3 bolts, I shout out the My Mate Vince Massive. See, I can do my own sound effects as well. And the members this month consist of kitdigital.com, Kip Hakes, Max Rokotansky, Having Fun Repairs. It was Having Fun Repairs that sent in that Dremel tool to me that you've seen working earlier, and how easy did it cut through that metal. Tool that you don't need until you get one, and then you'll never be without one. Ellensburg Amplifier Repair and Service, Will Michaelis, Chris Seal, Felipe from MrKeebs.com, King Kerr from Lowbook Auto Sales, DJVG, Ellis Garbett, Pigsy, Kenneth Glenstrup Sorensen, Simba Tinabu, Gabe McCandless, Extreme 401, and Robert from Timsey's Auto Air. So as always, a massive thanks to the Massive. Anyway, this motor is now ready to come out.
Let's see, is this going to come out? Yes, you are. Brilliant. Oh. Ah. Should that have some weird rubber on it that just grips in the middle of this here? I think so. That's just spinning. That's not doing anything in there, is it? Look at that. This massive thing here needs to be able to turn. And it's not. I wonder, is that window going to drop on me? I better cable tie the window up because, or is the springs going to hold it in position? Let's have a look now. I don't want it to be like a guillotine. Do you know what? No. At the moment, it's just that gear at the bottom holding it in, which is wedged into here. So I need to put a couple of cable ties just between the window and the frame to keep it in position. Otherwise, it's going to drop down. Right, that's cable tied between there and there, so that should only drop, I think, about 1 centimetre. Right, now, can we free up? Tell you what, let's get rid of this motor to begin with. And then we can have a closer look at it, but the motor's definitely spinning. Whoa. So yeah, it's got some sort of like rubber bung thing. Here, so this is definitely spinning. I'll tell you what, should we plug it back in just to make sure this is spinning, and then we know 100% that it's not I mean, I can already see it's worn. How else is it going to spin that other gear? Right, let's just rest it here and put the battery back on. Here goes. Just going to hold it here just in case it's a bit torquey. Yeah, there you go. Yes, that's absolutely fine. Right, so there's no problem with the motor. Battery kill switch is done again. Now let's see if we can release this gear here. How does this come out? Here we go. We are free. Right, let's disconnect the battery. We're free. So now, first things first, we can clean up this chain, but we need to find out why
Right, so that's gone loose there. Is there anything we can do to put that back in its place? And why is it on like a rubber thing? How does it even fit on? It's like a rubber bung in there, isn't it? Right, now, I think this must be a common fault, so I'm going to look online and see if you can buy these. If you can buy them for, let's say, 5, 10, 15, even £20, I'll buy one. Okay, apparently Flying Spares do them in the UK. I've already bought stuff from Flying Spares. Annoyingly, I've just placed an order for £500 for a wheel arch and a back repair thing, so I could have thrown that in with it. I don't know if this one is just a normal eBay seller or whether it is Flying Spares or not. It's £10 plus £6 postage, so £16. The thing is, it really is just a lump of plastic from what I can see. So I probably will buy it, but you know, while I'm here now at my dad's, I'm going to see if there's anything in the shed that I can use to bung it up, because it might work just as well. Now, this is where a 3D printer would 100% work and be very cheap, and even someone like myself who's got no experience, I reckon I could probably design that within the day. Do you know what I mean? I can't see that being too hard, because it's just going to be a cylinder and with just a hole and then a groove on one side. So yeah, but let's see if I can get it sorted today. Right, I've been thinking of different things, and I was thinking if I could get some sort of bung, and I was thinking about a door stop, you know, the ones that you like screw into the floor. They're just a bung of rubber, or you screw them onto the back of the door and then they just bounce off the wall. And amazingly, I didn't find one of them, but I found this in my dad's shed, which is a kind of nicer door stop that you screw to the floor and the door hits against this. There might be just about enough rubber, because it looks like it comes all the way to here and there, so there might be just enough. And it got me thinking, well, if the one that people are selling as a replacement is plastic, there's going to be no give on the plastic anyway. So I wonder, because we've got a little bit of what looks like rubber left on here and a tiny bit of what looks like rubber left on here. Now maybe this is a previous repair. I don't know if the original one was plastic that snapped out of it and somebody's pumped some rubber, sort of like the stuff I use around the windscreen, on it, or whether the original one's rubber. I would say the original one's probably rubber, but I don't know that. But anyway, because I've got a little bit of rubber left here and here, I'm wondering if I was to use this strap in here, because this is actually quite bendy, but also it's metal. It's going to be very strong. I could wrap it round here, you know, using pliers, and make it bigger and bigger and bigger, and then I might be able to hammer this on, and then the holes will kind of grip onto the remaining plastic on the inside there, and I think that might be a good fit. So I'm going to try messing with this to begin with. If I get it wrong, I'm only going to have used a few, you know, maybe 6 inches or something off it. I think I'm going to try that to begin with, and then hammer this on and see if it works or not. Hopefully it will. Maybe because it's driven by chain, even if I didn't get it on perfectly, if it was like a millimetre off, it's not going to be hugely off, but if it was a millimetre off, it might not make much difference if there's a bit of movement up and down, because it's on a chain, so it's going to allow for a little bit of movement, I think. Right, I'm just going to fast forward through all this bit, because nobody in their right mind would really be doing this. They would just be buying the part for £16 or 3D printing their own parts. It's just that, you know, when you're sort of desperate to see the result there and then, I don't want to have to wait 3 days for something to arrive and then have to go back to my dad's to finish this off. When I'm into something, I'm into it, and I just want to see the result. Whether it's a failure or successful, I want to see that result there and then. Impatient? Yes, I know. But anyway, let me fast forward through this bit here, and you guys can listen to a bit of relaxing music. you see I've drilled a hole right the way from here right the way through to here, and what I did is I got a nail and I hammered it through and then I broke it off. So it can't go anywhere now, it can't spin. Now I presume the cutting off is done, because this is all just going to be solid, I think, but I could be wrong. I presume the cutting off is done when it reaches this limit. It's like current limited, but if it's not, then obviously maybe this is designed to slip or something. Now that I've done this through here, it's not going to slip anymore. But if that's the case, I'll knock the nail back out and then I'll just buy the plastic insert for £16. It's not going to break the bank. But if this does work, well, this is never going to come undone, because there's a bit of metal going right the way through it, unless of course it was to shear right the way through. So I'm going to put this back in, and then we'll see. If I put the windows fully up and I can still hear the motor straining and twisting, then of course I know that this is supposed to give, but I don't think that's how it works. So let me get this back in the car, and then we'll see the final result. I've also cleaned up the window now as well, so it's nice and clean. Oh my, right, it's I'm losing light rapidly. Managed to get it back in. So I had a headache, because when I put it back in, I realised that this chain here, let's just rest this here for a few seconds until we turn it on. This chain down here was against this back bit here. And the reason the chain's rubbing the back is because I put the gear on wrong onto the motor. The gear's not perfectly in the middle. It's got like a collar on it, and one side of the collar's about 1 centimetre. The other side of the gear, the collar's 2 centimetres. So I should have flipped the gear 180 degrees round when I put it on, and that way then the chain would have sat nicely in the middle. Now I can't change that now because I've drilled a hole. I would have to basically swap it round. Well, I suppose I could swap it round and drill another hole, but what I did instead is I just added washers. So you can see now I've added washers here, and I've also added washers in here as well, and the other side. And what that does is it moves the motor this way, and by moving the motor this way, it's now moved the gear this way as well. So it's now clearing, I can't get in there, it's now clearing this thing here, yeah? So let's see if it's going to work. Not sure how much you're actually going to be able to see, it's pretty dark. Right, let's turn it on. Come on now, be good to me. Right, yes, excellent. Now, are the lights going out? Okay, well when I do that, the lights are dimming. I'm just going to do the same on the other side, and let's see if the lights dim then. Yes, they do, look. Okay, so they do dim. Let's see if they dim on the way up. Yes, they're dimming. Okay, let's put this one up. Fantastic, and it's nice and straight as well. It's pretty quick. And up. Excellent. Remember, my engine's not on, so the battery is going to be getting weak. And what I did is I cleaned it all up as well. So it's nice not to have the gaffer tape hanging down it. Right, I'm happy with that there. Now, you can add it down to the comments what you think. Did I do a better repair by drilling through and putting a nail right the way through it so it can't come undone again? Or would it have been better to get the plastic? The thing is, why was it made out of plastic in the first place? Why wasn't it made out of metal with a little grub screw? Is it designed to give a bit? For example, if somebody was to trap their hand in here, is it designed to give a bit? Let's see, actually. Something that's not going to cause me a lot of pain. Let's see if it chops it in half. What could I use? Okay, you might be wondering what I'm going on about here. It's called the anti-pinch feature, and basically on a modern car, if something gets jammed in the window, it will drop a bit because, for example, could be unlucky enough to have a child's head in there and they could strangle themselves, suffocate themselves on the window while it's going up. So when it meets resistance, it will drop a couple of inches to allow the child or whatever to get their head out of the window. So now, I'm not sure if it's on this car or not, and by me putting a nail through that gear, that will never ever slip. So maybe the plastic's designed to slip. At this moment in time in the video, I don't know whether it is or it isn't. So off camera, I've got my dad on the battery kill switch, and I've got my elbow caught in the door because my elbow's not going to do it's not going to do much damage to my elbow, and I'm going up on the window. It doesn't stop, it keeps on going. I have to then put the window down. It doesn't meet resistance and drop. I then do this on the driver's side rear door, and the same thing again, and I haven't tampered with that door there, so that door window should be original, and sure enough on that one it still doesn't drop. So now what I'm going to show you is an apple on the passenger side rear door, again a window that I haven't tampered with, so is probably standard from the factory, and this is what I found. Okay, curiosity's got the better of me, so I'm going to use an apple, and I want to see if this is going to break through it. So here we go. I think that's more because this window is quite weak. Let me start the engine and get the battery so there's full power. Yeah, there you go, it goes right through it, you see. So that's annoying. Oh well, that's annoying. So that's on two windows, the back one here and the other one that I haven't touched, and there's still no safety feature there because, you know, apples are pretty strong, aren't they? So you know, if you think about a child's neck, then someone's going to suffocate by the time it cuts through an apple. So yeah, obviously that safety feature is not part of this car here. If you know when that was introduced, if you could put it down into the comments below, because I thought in the 80s that that would have been a thing, but obviously on this it's not. So that is it for this video. Good news is the driver's window now isn't held up by gaffer tape. We've got it working. It's nice and quick, nice and strong, so hopefully that will last the test of time. Fingers crossed. So that is it for this video. I will see you all very soon. Take care.